We're taking a look outside where dense fog takes over this morning. Look at how thick it is in Coeur d'Alene. I'm going to let you know how long it sticks around.
We owe it to Idahoans to get shots in the arms of people who want it within 7 days.
Idaho Governor Brad Little is making changes to speed up the COVID-19 vaccine distribution. Plus, the Novavax vaccine is making national headlines today. We have more up ahead.
Plus, Spokane has a ranch critic. Yeah, how about that? This morning, a local influencer is taking on the coveted sauce and determining who has the best in town. That interview is coming up in a few minutes.
Up with KREM begins now.
Over 500 words have been added to the English dictionary. Thanks for hanging out with us here on Up with KREM on your Friday. So some of those words include pod to second gentleman. We're talking some of those words that stuck out, but don't worry, not all of them are coronavirus related. Coming up here. So what word do you think defined 2020? Text us some of your opinions. I see a lot of great ones coming in, from disappointing to patience, frustrating, boring, excruciating, crazy. Thank you for those who have sent in all your responses. We love seeing them this morning. We'll get back to those in just a couple of minutes.
I like whoever sent in the picture for their response.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, with the dumpster fire.
Very relatable.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm glad people are interacting with that this morning. I think everyone has a different definition of how 2020 went, but at the end of the day, we're over it.
Totally.
So.
And I think, some of them are a little bit negative if we're being honest, but I think there was a lot of good also. I think some people might say gratitude, maybe hope towards the end. And so I think there's some positives that came from 2020 also.
Yeah, if you found positivity in 2020, well done.
Perseverance.
Yes, that's a wonderful word for it. All right, let's go ahead and get you out the door, let you know what's coming because it is a foggy start to the day. There is no doubt about that. That's a live look at Coeur d'Alene. Can hardly tell because the fog is so thick, and that's the case across much of the inland Northwest. Dense fog and temperatures down near or below freezing early on today. What that means for you is that you can expect more of that fog as you head out the door. Visibility down to a half mile in Spokane, down to less than a tenth of a mile in Airway Heights. How about a quarter of a mile in Sandpoint and Coeur d'Alene with even thicker fog between the two? For that reason, dense fog advisory is in place until 9 a.m. this morning. That fog is going to stick around a bit longer as the sun starts to creep up overhead and temperatures eventually start to rise. It's going to be a slow rise today because of some of this morning fog, not near that jump we saw the past couple of days. Down to our south, a little bit of moisture associated with some of that cloud cover. I think that's kind of a narrow miss to our south as we head through the day. This model says no way it makes it into Spokane. We'll see. Overnight, might get a couple of flurries flying, and early tomorrow, those move out before our next round of showers or scattered showers moves in. So next couple of days, I think it's more of this. Clouds and temps climbing up to near 40 with some scattered showers in the region. But later on this weekend, the rain really arrives.
All right, Jeremy, thank you so much. 7:33 now. Well, happening today, we are expected to learn more about a plan to vaccinate Washington teachers. The Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction is expected to release more information at 11 a.m. OSPI aims to support a safe return to schools across Washington. And also the Washington Department of Health announced earlier this month that starting next week, grade school teachers and staff 50 and older and work around kids in schools will be eligible for the vaccine. So you can watch that press conference on TVW or the OSPI Facebook page. We'll also have updates on KREM.com. Well, this morning, a new COVID-19 vaccine is showing some promising results. Novavax completed a major phase 3 clinical trial in the UK. Now, that company is also doing human trials right here in the inland Northwest. Now, so far it found in the UK study, it is showing 90% effectiveness against COVID-19. They say it is less effective against the South African variant of the virus. Multicare is running the local trial, and before that got underway, we had talked to an expert here on Up with KREM about what to expect from this vaccine. Now, you can watch that interview and read more about it right now on KREM.com.
All right, let's get to 3 things you need to know this morning about the coronavirus right now. So the governor made some pretty big announcements yesterday in a press conference about reopening Washington. So let's get right to it. Number 1, Governor Inslee saying there are new regions in the state that only need to meet 3 of the 4 criteria to move on to the next phase. Now, the East region, which includes Spokane County, has not reached this goal and will not be moving forward quite yet. So here are the 4 qualifications each region needs to meet. So keep in mind again that they only need 3 of the 4. So this includes a 10% decrease in case rates over 14 days, a 10% decrease in hospital admission rates over 14 days, ICU coronavirus occupancy that's less than 90% over 7 days, and a test positivity rate that's less than 10% over 7 days. Moving on to number 2, the second day of the mass vaccination clinic here in Spokane went much smoother than day 1.
I am thrilled to have gotten my vaccine. My experience was unbelievably perfect. It could not have been better. Not only that, but the people inside are so considerate.
Well, despite expecting to vaccinate 500 people in a day, the Spokane area clinic had already administered more than 1,000 vaccines in the first day. While this is welcome news, it also means supply could run out sooner than expected. Chaz Health says they expect to borrow vaccines for people with appointments on Monday. Number 3, Governor Brad Little signed an executive order calling for more transparency in vaccine distribution in Idaho. Now, this order comes after concerns that some providers in Idaho may be holding on to vaccines.
We owe it to Idahoans to get shots in the arms of people who want it within 7 days of doses coming into Idaho. If it appears a provider is not administering their allocated doses quickly enough, we will step in to ensure they speed things up.
Little also says he's increased grant availability and the number of National Guardsmen available to help in the vaccine distribution process. Idaho residents that are 65 and older will start getting the vaccine Monday, February 1st, as the state moves through Phase 1B's first priority group. Dana Marie.
Taking a look at what's trending this morning, Webster's Dictionary added 250 new words. As you can imagine, terms from the coronavirus pandemic made their way on the list, but don't worry, it didn't take over all of them. Now, this is just a handful of them behind me. You can see those include murder hornets, flex, that's an act of bragging or showing off, the @ sign as a response to challenges or disputing a claim, like don't come at me, BIPOC, that's an acronym for Black, Indigenous, People of Color, ASMR, also Second Gentleman, Wet Market, Pod, and Bubble. So we're taking a look at some of those a little bit closer. Hard pass is a hard or firm refusal from rejecting someone or something. Gotta love this GIF, one of my favorites. Also silver fox, that's pretty self-explanatory there. Some nice, handsome silver hair. And then last but not least, maker space. That's a communal public workshop in which makers can work on small personal projects. Now, what word do you think defines 2020? Text us 509-448-2000. You might see some of your answers on TV this morning. We're gonna take a look at those in just a second. But first, here are some of those responses. Now, if you are having trouble picking just one word, not even the Oxford Dictionary could choose one word describing that for 2020. So normally there's usually a word of the year from Oxford, but they decided to do something a little special for 2020. Now on their website, they say 2020 is a year that just couldn't be described in one word. They decided to create an entire report based on how language adapted through the year. They called it Words of an Unprecedented Year. Very applicable. So here you can see part of the reports that focuses on top words used once a coronavirus pandemic began. Now this is a map of the words specific to regions. Shelter in place is a word used for the US a lot. And then lockdown is tied to the UK, Canada, and Australia. So some of those words that we saw from people that messaged us included crazy, We also got cancel culture, oxymoron, frustrating, boring. Guys, what do you think?
I think it's for me, it's something a little different. It's a phrase. It's can you see me? Can you see me? As I start up the Zoom call every time.
No, or excuse me, but you're on mute. We can't hear you. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Or think about like masking, you know, complimenting people on their masks, you know.
Yeah, right.
Or mask
like,
up.
This thing lives with me. Like I now have a mask that stays in my pocket all the time. I gotta wash it. I gotta clean it. I got a backup mask. Who knew?
Also, it's a year for people with beautiful eyes.
I
You know?
guess, yeah.
If you all you can see is those piercing eyes looking at
Dana
you at
Marie,
the grocery store.
Will you help me with my eye makeup so when I'm out in public, people are like, dang.
So I keep my false eyelashes on well after the show.
Oh, interesting. So, okay, I'll
All right,
come
we need
get
some pointers from Dana Marie.
Tim, fake eyelashes for you and me.
Half of them are hanging off my face by the end of the day, but hey.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm with you, Dana Marie. I totally get it. These men, they need to know what we go through, right? All right, 7:41 now this morning. It is a first for us here on Up with KREM. We're welcoming a local ranch critic to the show. Not ranch like a farm, like ranch the condiment. She's also a talented baker. That interview is coming up in a few minutes. Also, it's that time of year to send our love to those who have served. KREM 2 is hosting Valentines to Veterans right now. It's easy and it's a fun way to show our local heroes that we're thinking about them. So we're asking you at home to create your own Valentines. And once you write out your notes or cards, just send them to KREM 2 or drop them off. We'll have a box outside of the office here during business hours for a contact-free drop-off. All notes and cards must be delivered by February 10th. That way KREM 2 can deliver them to the Spokane Veterans Home on Valentine's Day. We'll be right back.